like oh, that's silly, that you shouldn't be sad because of that. Like try to understand them and to support them.
Yeah, good. Mandisa?
What was the question again?
Parenting tips. What do people need to know in order to become good parents?
And I would say give your child the attention that they require. I mean, and it's easy to know when your child needs your attention or needs something to ask or something, you know. And that makes them, I don't know, that will unlock social behavior. I don't know, it will make the child gain easier way to speak with other people.
Okay.
And yeah, I would say that. And other tip that I would say, don't, no, forget it. I was about to talk about the problems of parenting.
Good then.
Having kids is hard. So, how many tips would I give someone to be how to be a parent? That's too difficult. And for me, the most important, yeah, I know. Let me flow. I'm explaining. So the first thing I would say, or yes, like, how do you see yourself having kids? Like, do you see yourself, why don't I have kids? And first of all, pay attention to them when they are little kids and teenagers. That's some of the most important, yeah, the two most important stages of their
Okay.
life.
Yeah.
Teenagers and kids.
Okay. I like it. Good. It's gonna
That
help.
will be my tip. Pay attention to them at those ages.
Sounds good. Next, I have Layali, and then would be Janice and Aranza. Go ahead, Layali.
Take the time to spend some time with your children, because I know sometimes parents are too busy with work.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so next I have Janice.
Okay, let your kid believe in what they want to, and let them identify as whatever they want to, and let them love whoever they want, and don't emotionally sabotage them, because I hate emotional sabotage.
Yeah, and it's really hard, Janice. It's really, really hard because in this time in which people are being gender fluid and thinking they're pets and they're in love with their dogs and they're he, she, or them or whatever, it's very confusing and very painful for a lot of parents to have to deal with that. But I think that regardless of what your particular beliefs are, I think the most important thing is that you need to love your kids, whatever they want to identify with, and probably give them some orientation and some guidance, but most of all, just love them as they are. And that's very, very hard. Okay, let's go to Aranza, and then we have Amir.
I think that one of the most important things is to always transmit to your child that confidence so that they could talk to you, tell you what they feel, how was their day, and things like that. It's just to transmit that confidence so that they feel safe to talk with you.
Yeah. Amir?
I was to say like the same thing that Aranza said. I was going to say like be someone that your son can trust, but it's the same thing that Aranza said. Because in your point of view, like son, it's difficult when you have to restrict yourself and with all those emotions that you are feeling, and you don't have no one to tell what are you feeling in that moment, and you keep going like that, and that's create like a weight in your shoulders that it's going to be difficult for you because that can create like depression, sadness, and that's like trancar,
Shut down.
shut down like your goals, your futures.
Yeah.
And that is like an extra because when you have your parents, you can talk with them and distress yourself.
Okay, so next on my screen, I have Natalie, Sally, and Brenda. Go ahead, Natalie.
Okay, I will say that a parent must like teach his children how to deal with frustration, because in life we have good and bad moments, and we not always will win. And I think it's like very important to know how to deal with our frustration or when everything is not going good.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
I will say them to trust in their child and to teach them like all the important things, stuff about values and those things. And also, everyone say like it spent a long time with their kids and those things, but I also think that they have to have a control, because if we give like all the attention we have to them, like everything, they will like grow up thinking that they are like the center of the world, that everything is about them, and we have to have that equilibrium.
Yeah, it's like a balance.
Yes, we have to have a balance.
Yeah, good one. Brenda?
Teacher, did you listen me? It's because it's raining here. Yeah, okay. Well, I think like the same about what Mary said, because it's important to listen to your kid. Even that your kid is the bad kid, listen. Also, I think that the parents need to have like the authority of a parent, because when they want to
Correct.
correct your kid, they say like you, because in other time they don't have like the great authority. I think that.
Okay, and now I have Moises. Yeah, I think Moises Kasajan already spoke. Go ahead, Moises.
I think something that's important that no one mentioned is that you should teach your children to be independent from you, that you should at least teach them how to do some things if they ever live alone, like cooking or taking care of their own clothes and cleaning the house. Because it's likely that you won't be, as a parent, you won't be with them all the time. And then if they, if they go live somewhere else, they won't have any of the basic skills that they need to be a useful member of a house or a society,
I completely agree with you. Okay, so I'm happy that you mentioned this. So I've never used my phone for Zoom, people, so I'm in a learning process. I'm happy that you mentioned this. Brenda, I think it was, you spoke about having authority. And one of the things that parents have lost is authority over their children, okay? And for many different reasons. Sometimes in parts of it, the government is to blame for it. But in other parts of it, I think also because people start having kids too young, it has always been like this, but now people seem to be maturing a lot later than before. And so we have these kids having kids and completely expecting everybody else to help them to raise their kids, to discipline their kids, to have authority over their kids except them. So this leads me directly into the video I wanted to watch with you. My computer is still acting up. I'm definitely gonna have to get another one. So I'm kind of figuring out how to share my screen with you here. So please be patient. I'm 51. I don't know all this stuff like you do. Okay, so I think I figured out how to share my screen with you, and hopefully this works. Oh my goodness. Oh, great. I have no idea what I'm doing. What is going on? Where's the thing I need to share? Goodness. Okay, I'm sorry, that didn't go well. I wanted to share with you a little clip. Oh, give me a second. Can you still hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I want to share my screen with you on my phone. I have no clue how to do this. I wish one of you could come and help me, but you're so far away. So this is not going well. Okay, we're just gonna have to do this some other time. But I wanted to share with you a video that somebody sent me the other day of a little girl who, but why doesn't it give me what I need to see? Okay, can you see this? Is everybody seeing this on YouTube? I mean on Facebook, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so take a look at this. Where's the sound? Hey, where is the sound? Okay, can you see what's happening? Can everybody see this? Or is it just me?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. So take a look at this, and then at the end, we're going to discuss what's happening here and what the parent should have done. Okay, that's it. I think I'm doing this right. Oh, there you are. You're back. Okay, people. Am I unmuted? What is, yeah. Okay. Okay. Where's everybody? Goodness, why is this so hard? Oh, there. Okay, so what did we just watch? Who wants to take that? Explain to me, what did we just watch? Somebody give me the summary.
Berrinche.
Berrinche, it's called a tantrum. A tantrum, a temper tantrum. What do you, from the little bit that we saw, because we can't judge because we don't know what happened before or after or what happens in that home, but from the little bit that we saw, what do you think caused this child to react like this?
The absence of authority.
If you were that mother, how would you react? How would you solve that? Because the mother just ignored her. Okay, how would you solve that if you were the mother or the father?
I would get a new kid.
Okay, Moises, you would get a new kid. Come on, seriously. If you were that parent, how would you solve this situation? You're out on the street in a shoe store, okay? And this little girl is probably what, 4? And she's having like this huge meltdown. And you're the mom. What would you do? Because everybody's looking, and obviously people are filming, right? Because we're living in the age of people just picking up their phones and filming whatever. So let me start by calling names then. Okay, who's on my screen right now? Layali. What would you do if that were your kid and you were in that situation?
I think I will the thin face that some moms do. That
Okay, so you'd put on that face. You know, people, you know, a lot of you must have done this when you were growing up, because kids do this all the time. So I'm pretty sure that at least 2 or 3 of you in this class right now, you did that at some point. So like I would just give her the look. What about the rest of you? Let me see who else I can attack here. Janice, you're still here. Come on, tell me, what would you do if your kid started doing that in a shoe store?
I don't know. Because, okay, I don't know anything about parenting, and this is one of the reasons that I don't want to have kids, because probably I will just lose my patience and just hit them and tell them to shut up, but I don't know.
You know, nobody knows anything about parenting when they become a parent. That's the sad part. It's not like people go to the university and get a degree in parenting and then have kids. No, people have kids and then figure it out as they go, right? So yeah, the first reaction one has is like, oh my goodness, let us just hit this little girl. I know it happens, but it doesn't solve the problem. What would solve the problem? Let's go, Amir, talk to me.
Well, it will be like a process. The first thing that I will do is like talk in a pacific way. Say, look, I can vote this right now, but we can get be right back and vote another day. Then if she kept going, well, I raise my voice and tell her to stop. If she keep going, well, chaito, chaito, correa.
The problem is that this video was probably made in the United States, because I could hear them speaking English in the background. And that's one of those countries in which if you hit your child in public, whether the kid deserved it or not, you could get taken to jail and your kid gets taken away. And in fact, Panama is having this tendency of going in that same direction, where parents can no longer like correct their kids. I do not believe you have to spank your kid to correct your kid. I don't believe that. And I also do not believe that you should never spank your kid. I mean, you need to be smart and have a balance, okay? There's a time and a place for everything. And you know what? Sometimes a little kid needs a little tapita in its butt. But when you live in a society that's gonna judge your parenting skills, it's really difficult to know how to react in a situation like this. So a lot of people under the video made all kinds of comments, but there were, because I love to read comments, right? So there were these women who were saying like, it's really easy for you to make those comments unless you've been there, unless your kid has done that to you. Because we want to judge and we want to say, oh, what's happening in the home? Oh, what's wrong? But you know what? Kids who are 3 or 4 years old do whatever they feel like doing, and they embarrass you in public. Okay, so I think personally, the best thing this mom could have done is exactly what she did. Ignore her. Because if she started trying to have a conversation with her, maybe the little girl would have gotten worse. Maybe she would have had to spank the kid and get into trouble herself, or who knows what. So for me, she did the right thing. Just, you know, keep walking, nothing happened, whatever. And, you know, notice the little girl got up and followed her, still screaming, but got up and followed her. So my question to you is this: you've been 3 and 4 fairly recently. Did any of you ever have a tantrum, and how did your parents deal with it? Let's see. Some of you look like you've had more than one tantrum. Let me look at you.
Well,
Um,
my mom gave me like the look, like Ali say. Yes,
your mom,
I just shut up and wait till she calm down.
you lost your tantrum.
My
Yeah.
my mom just used to talk to me. I had tantrums when I had to go to school because I was always late. So when I'm late, I get nervous and I have paranoia. So I'm always crying. And if I'm late, I prefer just not going. So every time my mom left me in the door of the school, I will cry and do tantrums because I didn't want to go because I was late. So my mom will talk to me every time. Like my mom didn't spank me like ever. But yeah, she just talked.
And it worked for you, Janice?
Yeah, because I have never been a kid that did a lot of tantrums, and I've always been shy. Like, so it worked.
So why do kids throw tantrums? Who knows this? You've been kids recently. Why did you throw tantrums?
Can I ask, answer
Oh,
that question?
sure.
So,
I'm looking for
so,
my screen. Wait, there you go.
so the thing is that people don't realize is that children only do that when they want attention. But it's a paradox in itself because they want attention, but if you ignore them, they're gonna cry even harder. But like it shouldn't have gone to that place. Like it's like as a parent, you shouldn't just like make this a default. Like they're just going to scream. They shouldn't scream in the first place. They should get attention because that's what they want. Like babies, for example, they don't have any way to communicate, so they're going to scream. And that's going to get them attention. If they grow up and realize that the only way they're going to get attention is screaming, that's going to be their habit. So that's literally the issue, that if you ignore them, they're going to keep screaming. So literally it's just paying attention to them.
Yeah. So what you think is that this little girl screams because that's the way that she knows how to get attention? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's probably just like the way that she makes herself the center of attention to make people or her mother look at her.
So what do you think the mom should have done?
Honestly, there's nothing she can do at that point because she let this get worse and worse over time. This is clearly not something that she just did. This is not her first time crying. This is just, that is a fake cry. That is a cry of someone who's just angry. So it's just that she was a bad mom and is a bad parent. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, and I like what you mentioned, that's anger coming out. It was a fake cry, it was more anger. So it's very likely that this little girl has anger issues that need to be resolved. So if we go back to the question we asked at the beginning, and a lot of you said that a tip you would give to parent is to pay attention to your kids, spend time with them. Do you think that if you paid enough attention to your kid and spent time with your kid, it would help the child process these types of emotions in a healthier manner? Instead of just screaming down the place, it would actually help the child to process anger differently? What do you think, people? Who else is on my screen? Let's see. This thing on the phone, this doesn't work. I don't like this. Moises, talk to me.
I really don't know what I would do in that situation because I have never seen like a family member or someone deal with that. So I don't know what you could do for something like that. Like if you start hitting them, I don't know if that would solve anything. They would just start crying or not listen to you. And ignoring them will annoy the other people in the store. So I would take them out of the store and get them somewhere else, put them in the car or go home, or I don't know, ground them. I don't see a way to solve that without annoying the people at the store or without, hitting my child, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. So people, in essence, the role of parents is extremely important. And it's a role that a lot of people have not taken seriously. Okay. Now, we usually like to talk about, oh, all these young girls having babies. But like I think I said before, or I said somewhere, if we go all the way back to Bible times, kids 12 and 13, girls 12 and 13-year-olds were having babies. So this is not anything new, like, oh, they're having babies at 12. No, this is the habit that society has always had. So we're being kind of hypocritical when we see 12 and 13-year-olds getting pregnant and we pretend we're surprised. It's just the habit that has been formed. But that's not the problem. The real problem is that people are not being prepared to be parents. And I think one of the reasons why pregnancy lasts so long is 9 months. For some cases, 9.5 months. One of the reasons why it's so long is because you're supposed to prepare to be a parent. But what do most people do during that time? Oh, they go shopping and the tent decoration. And very few people take the time to read a book or to take a course or a class to prepare themselves to be a parent. That's the real problem here. Because it's not like, oh, I'm pregnant, tomorrow I'm having the baby. No, it takes a while for that baby to form. And in that period of time, every single one of us, whether you wanted the baby or not, whether it was a surprise or it was planned, you have 9 months, or let's say maybe less, because some people find out they're pregnant after 3 or 4 months. But you have at least 5 months to prepare yourself to become a good parent so that this kind of foolishness does not happen. So back to the beginning, one of the issues with removing the role of parenthood and removing authority from parents is that this starts happening more often, okay? Because the parents no longer have authority to do whatever it is they're supposed to do at home or on the street. Okay, so last question before we end, and my computer never came to life. I don't even know what this is. Last question before we end. How involved do you think the government should be in parenting? Do they need to be involved? How much? What should they do? And let me swipe here. And let's go back to Mary Foster. How involved do you think the government should be in the role that parents play? Should they just completely stay out of it, or should they have some type of involvement?
I don't think that parenting has to come from another institution for you to do it. But maybe the one thing that I will think about is about knowing that a person is stable to have a kid. Like, that's the only thing that actually came to my mind, because it's not everybody that you can choose just to have a kid, because it's a responsibility, and it should not be neither like a punishment. It's a responsibility to have a child, and I don't think that everybody should have a child if they are not ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Do you think there should be like a parenting class that you take in school, Diane?
Parenting class, I don't know. I think maybe just like a psychological exam to know if the person is able to raise a kid.
But that would be kind of difficult, because what if they're already pregnant? When do you do this exam? Like when you're coming out of school, right before you get pregnant? This, like, in case you get pregnant in the future, here's your exam. Yeah, parenting is complicated. It's very complicated and it's very hard. And I agree, if you're not ready, you should not have a child, but stuff happens. And a lot of people become parents without wanting to. But my advice to you as kids who may or may not have start having babies within the next 5 years is, never be afraid of reading good books and asking questions. A lot of people think that, oh, parenting is supposed to come naturally. It does not come naturally. No, it doesn't. Read books, find out. Read to see if this is something you want to do. And you know what? If you decide you don't want to have kids, that's perfectly okay. And nobody should judge you because of this. It's not easy having kids and then to be stuck with these kids for at least 20 years. So if this is not something you can do, it's okay to say, no, I don't want to have kids. That's perfectly okay. And if you decide to have kids, read a book and ask questions, because that's extremely important. Okay, people, hopefully next week my computer will be alive again because this phone thing isn't working for me. Do you have any questions before we end the class? I don't even know how to end this thing. Do you have any questions? No questions? Okay, so see you next time. I don't know how to finish this, so just go away. Bye-bye. Oh my goodness, what is this?